Now, Eric, when I left you, we were talking about can the company do something? Can they personally make it colder, make it hotter? Tell us.
Well, slot machines we talked about earlier have a theoretical payback percentage, right? And the casino can choose which payback percentage that they want to offer to the casinos. And every time that they want to change the hold percentage, they have to call the division to come over and to do an inspection for the slot machine each time the software is touched. Right. So we'll go there and make sure everything's still in compliance with the law and that it's meeting the minimum payback percentage. But really,
how do you determine that it's meeting the minimum?
Well, it's through the review process in the lab. We have engineers and we have mathematicians. Mathematicians evaluate the math model. Really, when you look around a casino and you look at all the different games that are used, whether it's table games or slot machines, everything's based upon math. So when you look at a slot machine, for instance, you have symbols that can occur, and there's payments when you align certain symbols that are associated with that. There's also probabilities for each of those symbols occurring. So that's how you do it, basically. You evaluate the probabilities associated with the payback percentage and come up with a theoretical return. Theoretical returns based upon us determining that it's a random outcome, because if you can predict the outcome, you can beat the casino. If you can predict that it's a hot slot machine, which people like to say, oh, I got this hot slot machine, then the casino can be beat. So part of the evaluation and the math evaluation is the evaluation of something called a random number generator. And the random number generator is critical to slot machines. The job of a random number generator is to pick numbers within a given range. And the random number generator is doing that every millisecond, whether the game's being played or not. Every millisecond is picking numbers, bang, 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 right? The moment that you activate those reels, the random number generator stops. Whatever numbers it had selected at that point in time are mapped to real symbols. And the slot machine displays those real symbols to the patron. And then the slot machine reacts to what symbols are displayed based upon the pay table of the slot machine. So to change the hold percentage, you just change the probabilities of different outcomes occurring. You take some symbols off the reel. You increase the number of blanks that are mapped to the random number generator. So therefore, you can change the probabilities and the return to the player, the expected return to the player.
So the machines that say they're 92%, 98%, they do really give you a better opportunity?
They do. Again, going back in the long run. Over the long run, they will.
How long is a long run?
It could be anywhere from a month to 6 months. So it's really hard to say in some cases. But yeah, the greater the return to the player, the more likely that player is going to receive payment from the slot
One
machine.
interesting thing is the number of the jackpots. You know, everybody likes that jackpot. And there are jackpots that are being won all the time, but the only ones you hear about are the ones that are in the millions of dollars. They hit a $7 million jackpot, a $3 million jackpot, whatever it may be. So are there the $75,000, the $50,000 jackpots?
Sure. There's a whole host of jackpots. The critical number for the division is $75,000. Statutorily, when someone wins a jackpot of $75,000 or more, our inspection staff has to go out and inspect the slot machine to make sure that it hasn't been tampered with, that the appropriate software is in there. But today, casinos can offer very, very large jackpots, like you said, the large $1 million jackpots, due to something we call wide area progressives. And what that allows the casinos to do is to link slot machines in their casino with slot machines in other casinos in Atlantic City. And the more you play the slot machines, the greater the top award is. And over time, that award can grow. Right now, I think the largest jackpot that's out there in Atlantic City is close to $2 million. So one of the initiatives our legislators recently passed is something called a multi-state progressive initiative, which will allow us to not only have linked progressives in Atlantic City, but allow Atlantic City to link with jurisdictions outside of Atlantic City to let these jackpots grow to tremendous amounts. And that will be an attract feature for our local casinos.
Yeah, well, we saw that when they do the lottery. When they hook the lotteries together, you then see it up in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Could that possibly happen with the slot machines?
That's exactly what we're trying to do, is to promote those large jackpots. And I don't know about $100 million jackpots, but it's going to be significant. And right now we are trying to partner. We've been working on this initiative, at least in concept, for about a year now. Internally, we've been working with other jurisdictions to try to identify partners. And hopefully by the end of this year, we'll announce that we've come to an agreement with a couple of jurisdictions, but I don't want to tip my hat at which ones they'll be.
Okay. One of the things that happens in any business, there are cheaters. We knew about the person with the yo-yo that would take a coin and put it on a string and put it in and pull it out, put it in, pull it out. Tell me how you handle the folks that try to beat it illegally.
Absolutely. That's one of the major things that we look out for is when we're evaluating a product, we're looking at the physical integrity of the devices, and we're also looking at the software. Today, the whiz kids that are out there trying to, find a way to defeat these products. It's funny, you talk about the yo-yo, and what that was, it was when we used to have coin mechanisms and used to put coins in the slot machine, there would be a string, and they would dip that in and out of the slot machine. So what the manufacturers did to defeat that was to put an arm mechanism that you couldn't pull it back out. So the crooks got smart and they started gluing coins onto a strip, and then they can push them down into there, and then the arm couldn't close, and they can go up and down and activate credits. Well, we responded by putting a sensor in the slot machine to detect the direction of the coins going in and out. So they got smart again, and they came up with shaved coins, and they could spin them and activate the coin in, but when the shaved coins came out, it wouldn't trip the coin out mechanism, so they didn't know how much they were paying. So you would get the shaved coins out with the good coins, right?
But when
you're always
stop,
playing cat and mouse.
Yeah, when you stop putting out the coins, that put them out of business entirely.
From that perspective,
right.
But there are things that turn up from time to time, not just with slot machines, with other products. We had people trying to steal from kiosks in Atlantic City, and we caught them. We were able to prosecute them. Not too long ago, we had a problem. Something was happening in Nevada, and through surveillance, they saw that somebody was getting paid jackpots that they weren't entitled to. And they watched the person who was doing some crazy, weird sequence of events at the slot machine. And we worked with Nevada and the manufacturer, and we all came down to we were able to finally duplicate it into the lab. And we took immediate action. Because of the processes we have in place in New Jersey, we know specifically where every piece of software resides in the casino floor. We identified the software that was being compromised and took immediate action to protect the casinos here from happening. Other jurisdictions that don't have those processes weren't as lucky. Some other jurisdictions got hit for over $400,000 from this scam. New Jersey was able to stave it off, identify the problem, protect our casinos, and we could not identify any instance where it actually happened here in New Jersey.
And that's the kind of protection you get when you play the slot machines here in the Atlantic City area. We'll see you in a couple minutes for our final segment with Eric Weiss.